In Europe and developed countries, private sector is the one that fund research. Can I give you a joke? This one will be a brief one. In Africa today, countries are required to dedicate at least 1% of the GDP to research and development. None of the countries today in Africa is doing that. In Europe, in Asia, they are at the level of 2%, 2.5%, 3%. But the joke is that you have a country that is funding 2% of the GDP research, and 60% has come from the private sector. So which means that the government might have just then contributed 0.8%. So the joke we are saying is that in Africa, it is 0.8%, but 100% funded by the government. So we may not be doing very badly. It is just that the private sector has not been developed to be able to fund research. And the big discussion that has been outside there is how do you use public money to fund the private sector to develop solutions? Is that morally correct? And as opinion leaders in this, we are saying yes, it is correct. Because through that, you can be able to motivate public-private partnership, collaboration with the universities, but more importantly, help transfer technologies. Like I said, and there are only 10, I'm at 8, so 3 are remaining, I'm almost finished, that we have reviewed the 23 public-private partnerships. The biggest weakness, and there are several weaknesses that I don't need to talk about now, we can talk individually if there is interest, is that none of the collaborative agreements between universities and research institutions has adequately addressed the issue of intellectual property, the issue of revenue generation, the issue of ownership of any other products, processes, or technologies that can come out through the collaboration. That is something that needs to be looked at very, very keenly. It is beneficial not only to you, the researcher, but also to the private sector, because then it gives the private sector that confidence that really the relationship is being properly managed. There are two things that are very, very interesting. The first one is that actual commercialization cannot succeed well without active participation of the owner of the technology, you, the researcher. Again, experience has shown that. But on the other side, the researchers have two problems. The first one is that you have low appetite for commercialization and technology transfer. For good reasons. One is that there is no incentive. For publication, you know, you need your 5 publication, you will apply for promotion. This one is slightly difficult. But the second reason is that you don't have the right skills to really enable you to do commercialization. Experience has shown two things. That this commercialization and technology transfer is about money. It's about business. And the researchers are at a disadvantaged states when negotiating with the private sector. So having a system that can support the researchers in terms of negotiations and things like that is really desired. And I've had practical experience. I could have given you a third joke, but I know time is not on our side. So going forward, we are putting in place structures at the African Center for Technology Studies to enable us move to the doing part. And you know, our role has always been facilitation, so how to support. And we thought that some of this support we could be able to extend to you. The first one is that we have a fully functional IP unit led by a lawyer who has masters in intellectual property. And this is a service that we can support you on. And all of you, so long as you are interested in, it is something that we can do. I indicated that we have a tool for technology readiness assessment, which again we could be able to make available to you, just to really self-test your technology to find out at what stage is it. Is it something that you can start talking about with potential investors, or there are certain things that still need to be done? Most of you are developing solutions using artificial intelligence and machine learning. I think there are 19 projects that are in this. And today, and I think it was also mentioned yesterday or yesterday but one, that developing and deploying emerging technologies require consideration about several ethical issues. And today we are providing a service on sensitizing researchers on how to deploy artificial intelligence responsibly. And then we have a program that is ongoing now, working with innovators and innovation hubs in Africa, those that are trying to deploy artificial intelligence and solutions to ensure that it is done responsibly. And it is also something that we can be able to discuss. I think number 4 we are very keen on, and it is something we'll want to explore further later. But number 5, I think it is important to consider now, because uptake of R&D outputs can be through scaling, but also can be through policy influence. And the whole idea, how do you package therefore your R&D in a manner that can be able to influence policy, is something that we can also support. If there will be interest in that, we could also organize a short course around that, just to support you. Thank you.